April 2026. Now, I know a lot of you last week were saying, where was everybody else? Well, I've got one of them back. I've got
No, come
Aaron.
on.
Aaron's back. How you doing?
Oh, I'm alright. I'm alright.
So Amber hopefully will be on ever so shortly, but Amber has been at work all day. So we're not sure if she's going to be on. Hopefully she'll come in halfway through. But this week's podcast is all going to be about a marshal's perspective. Basically, when you're spectating at a circuit, you see things in a certain way. We see things in a slightly different way. Basically, because we've got access to more areas, access to more knowledge, we know what's happening more or less around the whole track due to being in contact with race control through radios and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to dive straight into it, mate. And I'm going to go straight to you because you're the only one that's here. And two, you probably get most interaction with the spectators. So, oh, we have somebody watching already. Wow.
Yeah, no, I saw one of my mates. It's live on YouTube. It's probably him. Hold on, let me check.
Either that or it's my daughter downstairs, one of the two. So, from a marshal's perspective, mate, I want to ask you, what have you? I know you have hundreds of stories, and we'll get to that, right? But have you had anything from a spectator that you think, oh, it's that shouldn't really be coming from the public?
Um, well, I'll be honest. Around the paddock, the spectator's pretty well behaved. You occasionally get the one
But
or
that's
two
because
that,
they've got teams and they've got team managers, they've got cars moving and stuff. So I suppose they have to be, don't they?
yeah. Not. I mean, like around the paddock, like just the public. There's one I can think of. Where we told somebody wasn't allowed in assembly because you have to have a wristband to get into assembly. Basically saying,
Hmm.
I'm with a team, I'm allowed to be in here, basically. And you have to be over 16 to be in assembly as well. And this guy had a
Do
camera
the
out. He
teams
was,
get allocated a certain?
yeah, they do. I have no idea how. I think it's you just go along, and I think you get them at race control.
So for talking take, if they say your team's allowed 5 wristbands this weekend, you saying that you get people coming up saying, "Well, I'm with the team," even though there's like maybe 10 of them, type thing.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think the way it's done is in race control. You get it. So like you go up and just like get however many wristbands you need. Um, something like chat at the same time. Yeah. Let me just think for a second. Hold on, my brain's gone. Yeah. So I think you just go into race control, just grab set amount of wristbands that you need for your team, and then that does that.
Hmm.
But you do get members of the public who just want to be down near the cars, which I get, because cars are cool. We all agree that. But then,
Yep.
in terms of insurance and all that, you're not allowed to be in there. We had one, I think, to do with camera. He was told not to be in assembly, just kept going back and just wouldn't go away until I can't remember how we got away, but we got away somehow. But otherwise, public are pretty good around the place. The touring cars, there are a lot of people, and sometimes people just aren't really aware of their surroundings. But then a lot is going on, so it's understandable. That's why we're there. End of the day, because if nobody else is there to say, "Yo, there's a Porsche coming up behind you," then you don't know about Porsche. I don't know where the hell that came from, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, it's slightly different for us out in the banking because we're
from that.
dealing with the general public that are not near the
Mm.
offices and they're not near the teams and they're out in the middle of a. And so, what many people maybe don't know is yes, we're there and we're watching the cars, we're looking for leakages, body panels hanging off, drivers not wearing gloves. It happens, by the way. Uh, nets that are not up,
No, I
all
get
that
it
kind of
assembly
stuff.
enough. In
Yeah.
assembly, the drivers are horrific for that. Like you'll be waving the green flag at all assembly, whistle's gone, go 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 go, safety car's going, and there'll be somebody sat like third place still trying to get the helmet on. It's like, what are you meant to
Yeah,
be ready?
yeah, exactly. So out in the banking, we're looking for all that, but at the same time, we're not responsible for, but we will report anything that we see from the spectators that isn't as it should be. Now, I would probably say one of the biggest problems we have with spectators as marshals is, and it's something that is so simple, and it's what they do is they get you've got the ankle barrier around a lot of the track now, and they
Yeah,
sit their kids on the ankle with their legs dangling over the other side.
yeah, no, can't do
That's
that.
probably the biggest issue that we have. And if a car comes off, there's a reason the barrier's there. It's to stop you getting hit. And if a car comes off, it's somebody's legs that are getting crushed.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
mean,
generally the ones that we are reporting constantly on
yeah,
a touring car weekend. Not so much on an SMRC weekend,
no,
but when you've
touring
got a
car
higher
weekend.
percentage of spectators there, it's going to happen a bit more, you know.
I mean, it reminds me of I think it was a Northern Irish TV ad for Safe Driving, whatever it was. And there's somebody sat on a fence with a leg stand underneath it, and a car comes on and crashes into them, and the legs get cut off. That just sort of reminds me of that. It's the exact same premise, really, isn't it? You know,
Mhm.
car. I mean, I think I want to say at the hairpin, not on the exit hairpin on that bit of straight before you get to the pit lane, the armcle is
That
above
that
the
that
tyre
can be
barrier.
quite that can be quite prevalent with it some weekends, yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's
say
what I
like
assumed it'd be.
super bikes and touring cars for definite. And do you know what? It's innocent enough because the parents are just trying to get their kids somewhere to sit because they've maybe been
Yeah,
standing for hours. And it is very, very innocent, but it's also very, very, very unsafe.
yeah,
Now, we will generally say to them, we will gesture to them, "Gonna like legs back over or move over that type thing." Um, if that doesn't work, then it's a radio to race control and not kill security will come down. Not kill security have been known to throw people out before because they've
see,
started an argument because it's just my kid sitting on the wall. They don't
that's
realize the
one that
implications if something came off.
like I know it happens. That stuff will not kill security. Can't speak. Will not kill security. But it's something I would imagine, like in my head, because I just don't. To be honest, it's just one of those things where I can imagine not kill security going on, telling you off, and then being like, "Oh no, sorry mate, oh, yeah, sort out." Not sitting there and arguing with them, but I suppose it's sort of just the person I am compared to other people maybe. That they,
It's just it could be anything. It could be we don't know what's happening in at home with these people. It could be somebody's had a bad day, so they've come up to there to get away from it all. Now they're getting told off for having the wind's
yeah,
legs hanging over the edge. If you know what I mean.
yeah,
Um, it's 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 mental, and I don't think a lot of people realize how not kill security are about all day, the whole circuit, because they don't walk about with high vis vests on, and they don't walk about with like the police with their body armor and security and stuff on the back. It's an unsuspecting car, an unsuspecting little transit custom, a little white one. They'll just drive about as if they're looking for a parking space, and then they'll park up and they'll watch and that type of stuff.
yeah. No, I can
Really good
imagine it.
that way.
I mean, the
And the
panic
other
as
thing that
well.
we get out in the banking, and again, you probably won't get in assembly, and it's along the lines of the old wacky backy. So at the opposite side of the circuit, you'll get a whiff of it type thing.
Oh,
Generally,
right, I don't remember.
yeah, generally speaking, we
I can imagine
wouldn't
being
do
Clark's then.
anything. Uh, yeah, Clark's can be
Yeah,
quite bad for it.
it's just a bit bastard
Saying
back
that,
there.
one of the worst ones I ever had, and we actually did have to report it. Like I say, we don't generally report it, but this time we did have to report it because it was so bad, and that was post two.
Who's
They
two?
obviously came over the bridge, and they'd walk down, and the way the
Oh,
wind
yeah,
was,
that makes sense.
it was blowing it straight. Now, if it's group of guys out for a weekend having a laugh, your business is your business. But if there's kids
Driven and
kicking
drunk.
about, it becomes a different story.
Yeah. Um. Well, what was I going to say? My brain just think for a second. Yeah. One thing that comes to mind in assembly, um, with well, not really the public, but more the teams. There's a rule in assembly where you've got this blue wall here, and
Hmm.
then between Tanko's office and the assembly area, and the cars are on their
Hmm.
side, bit of grass here, then you get track. The rule of
Hmm.
assembly is that you're allowed to sit on that blue wall. Just if you're sat on it, you've got let's say you sat on the wall here and you're facing this way.
Hmm.
although your body's facing this way, you've got to be looking this way. No, I can't think. You can't have your back to anything that goes on assembly. That's it. It's been a while, okay? It's been a while.
2 seconds, mate. 2 seconds. Thanks for letting me know, David. It's not my daughter watching. It's fellow Marshall.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't have your back to anything in assembly. Because if there's a car coming up behind you and you don't see it, then they might need you to move. And then Liam's in there as well.
Evening, guys.
He's watching me just fumble this. But yeah.
What does it say when you're on stage? Just imagine them naked.
Oh, can you see them? That's the point.
That's a film. You must have heard that before, have you not? Like people are getting up at like doing speeches and stuff. Aye.
Doesn't make sense to me, but I don't really want to get into it either.
I think what it's meant to do is it's meant to make you feel laugh internally, which kind of usually the butterflies will disappear if you're nervous and that kind of stuff. Anyway, you carry on.
I don't really like even I can translate that to motorsport actually, because even like the touring car weekend, not this year, but year before, it was very busy in paddock, and I was sort of the Sunday I was sent up to go in paddock, and I wasn't too happy that we sent to the paddock, but they told us what to do, go get on with it, so I had to park all the touring cars up, and touring cars, yay. But yeah, it was actually quite good fun in paddock, because half the day I'm sure the folks get out of the way of cars, and I find it really funny because everyone moves out the way and then turns around and sees a 15-year-old, 14-year-old shouting at them. That's like, oh, out the way. But they're all to the side anyway, so it works out. But
do you know what though? See when you've got the overalls on and you've got a tabard on that says Marshall and stuff, I think people understand.
I mean,
you would think there'd be more people signing up, wouldn't you? You would think there'd be more people signing up when they can see old people, bald, fat people like me that can do it, waving flags and stuff. And then you get the young people like yourselves that are out in assembly and stuff. So motorsport and marshalling in particular is for all ages. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
all ages, all body types, all sexual orientations, everything. Everybody's welcome. It's one big, massive family, you know.
I'm ripping Liam out the audience into the podcast here. I know he is doing by Silverstone. I know he wanted to go to Marshalling down there, so I've done about it. And Silverstone don't actually let you marshal unless you're 16.
Yeah, but see, Silverstone have the Silverstone Marshals team.
Yeah.
I suppose it's very much like SMRC Marshals, but obviously it's the home of British motorsport and stuff, and they can kind of make rules to suit themselves. Because you'll notice a lot of the Silverstone Marshals, they'll have some of them have black overalls as opposed to orange ones. Now I don't know them. What's that?
Doesn't really make sense to me that. Like I know.
I think it's more of a hierarchy dress, right?
Well, yeah,
so for talking's sake, the flag marshal maybe has orange, blah blah blah, but the post chief might have black, and that identifies him anywhere as a post chief because he's wearing black. That could be it.
If it was all of them wearing black, it wouldn't really make sense to me. It was like post chief wearing black. That makes no sense. Because if everyone's wearing black, and there's, let's say, just some naughty driver who's always getting black flagged for whatever he's doing, you can look at every single post. Is that black flag? No, okay, right. Is that a black flag? He might be an absolute muppet because he's getting a black flag every 2 laps.
But got to remember, you're only going to get a black flag at the start-finish line.
Good point, actually. I forgot about that. I'll give you that. Fair enough.
You're not going to get a black flag all the way around the track.
Yeah. It'd be quite interesting if you did. But yeah, overall, public are pretty well behaved for me.
Do you ever get public trying to jump the wall from like post 10 up that wall at the back where the paddock bar is?
Oh, let me just figure out what you mean. Do you mean the wall by?
See where you took the video from that day, and I was like, oh, I'm in that video waving a flag.
Yeah. Are you the one from the rallycross?
Yeah.
No. Did you run across me?
No. But I was at post 10 the week before, and I was like,
Right,
I was
okay.
standing
Yeah.
there the other day, and as you walk up towards the pit lane on the bank or behind
Yeah,
the
there's
spectator
a blue
banking bit,
wall.
there's a wall. Do you ever get them trying to climb up there to get in and stuff?
A suit. I think I don't know what I mean. And I think it leads up to assembly as well. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that will. Not people trying to
Or is it
jump.
too big?
Not people trying to jump over it. They probably could jump over it. They
Right.
want to, but we do have people like, especially the touring car weekend, like especially that. Even like 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, you've got people with cameras up there, like that, top of the wall trying to get photos. Which
Right.
isn't really an issue, but it is just a bit nippy, you know. You just look
Mm-hmm.
over your shoulders, camera there. Hell, you know. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
actually allowed to do it. Um, I would just say don't do it. Photograph them in the paddock, mate. You're gonna get a lot
Mm-hmm.
better photos there, really, in my opinion.
Does the chief assembly marshal or anything say if you see anyone
Um,
doing that to stop them or?
I'm honestly not sure if it's an issue. He will. Stuart, absolute cool. He's brilliant at what he does.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, most of the time it's mainly just folk going to assembly and not meant to. Like, we'll make exceptions occasionally. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like if there's like a team member that is, we know the team like actually like team gear in this. I just haven't got a wristband. Then
Mm-hmm.
just whatever. I know you're a team member. We shouldn't. It's not really the procedure, but then again, you know, if you're literally drenched in this team's merch and like you're
Mm-hmm.
with the team and you don't know about a wristband, not really meant to let you in. But then end of the day, I know you're a part of the team, you know, so it's easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say like, yeah, you're part of the team, just go whatever. Um, but the main issue is under 16s because some people will like have a wristband and try to bring their kid with them as well, but then like they'll be like eight
Right.
or something, and it's like, well, you can't really be down here because you're an 8-year-old. Like, as much as I get that 8-year-old might love cars, it might be the only thing they talk about. You
Mm-hmm.
can't really be in an environment where we're setting them off for a race, you know, because they'll be the last thing they'll be thinking about is there going to be an 8-year-old right in front of my touring car, you know?
Mm-hmm. So you're
But
talking about 8-year-olds that are maybe coming in with a member of the crew type thing, or
yeah, I
just
mean,
in
like
general?
in a not that it's happened, but in a scenario that probably could happen. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was I can't remember if it
Well,
was Jake
here's the
Hylton
thing
or
for you then. Here's the thing for you. We'll go with an SMRC weekend, right?
yeah.
So there is a team, the mechanic and his wife is also a mechanic, and they have a child that is 7 or 8 years old, and they try to bring them into assembly, right? But they don't have a band for them. Do you let them in and do you not let them in?
Done. Two reasons
Right.
why. One, don't have a
Well,
wristband. Two,
okay.
go on.
Okay. Who's watching that 7, 8-year-old when the parents are actually
Um,
in assembly with the car?
well, the thing is with that
I'm just
is,
assuming that's all there is. That's why I went for an
yeah.
SMRC weekend and not a touring
Well,
car
the thing
weekend.
is not. If you are Brennan, let's say you're both racing, right, and you bring your child with you.
Mhm,
First of all, there's most likely going to be some crew there. If there isn't crew, then the question is why they're at the track. Because
mhm,
if you're bringing a child to a racetrack when you know there's going to be times where you cannot supervise them at the track,
mhm.
they shouldn't
Yeah.
really be at the track without you, unless they can be trusted to like just sit in the paddock or go sit in the Duffess or whatever
Mhm.
and behave themselves. They shouldn't really
There
be
is
there.
another option. There is another option.
Or you could just send them to race control, maybe have fun. Honestly, I
No,
don't know
no,
what to do
no, no.
with that situation.
Before you come for the weekend, go into the motorsport.org, motorsportuk.org, sign them up as a marshal, and they can just sign a wee form in the morning, and it can be Stuart's wee thing all day.
Yeah, I got Stuart won't thank me for that.
That's a definite.
It's bad enough having me down there. No mind.
What is the age of the youngest person now up in assembly?
That's a good question. I think ooh,
Don't give second names, just first names, because obviously
um,
they're quite young. For GDPR, we don't want to be giving second names on a
yeah.
live YouTube.
Well, first of all, I'm not so sure about the first name. I think I know the first name. I'm not going to say it because I'm wrong because I'm never going to be able to forget it. Um, and also not to know a kid's first name. Really, I think around maybe 9 or 10. I might have that horrifically
9 or
wrong.
10.
But fair enough. Like ours, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can technically no, it has to be over 12, does it not? So it might be 12.
Um, I
I'm
don't
honestly,
no, I
I
don't
can't
think
tell you.
so because as long as you've signed a sheet of paper, like I say, I don't know the full rules against this 'cause I've never had to deal with it. Either
I
I've
think,
never been marshalling in assembly and I've never been on like the chief
yeah,
marshal or anything. So I don't know the politics
I
behind
think
that
what
kind
it
of stuff. There probably is rules somewhere.
is a cadet marshal has to be between 12 and 16. I think's the
Right.
rule, because I think 12 is when you're considered like competent enough to be there. But honestly, I'm
Right.
not really sure. There is probably scenarios where there is people younger than that marshalling,
Mm-hmm.
but then they'll have parental supervision on 24/7. Well, not
Mm-hmm.
24/7, but throughout the day. But overall, I'm not sure. That's not
Cool.
so much what you gave to answer really.
Aye, that's very true. So again,
Um,
on the Marshals Perspective side of it, I was going to ask you a question there, and it's just went straight out from underneath this earphone, and it's buggered off out there somewhere. I don't know where it went to, and I can't remember what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you something else. Do you know what? We're going to pricing because we don't pay to get into the circuit, obviously. So I
we
haven't
won't.
paid to get into Knockhill for racing now since 2011. I think the last time I went to a touring car weekend, it was £21 for a weekend ticket. The last time I actually paid to get in.
That is mental, but that shows you inflation. Because just for the
Aye.
record, by the way, the last time John paid for a ticket for a race weekend at Knockhill Racing
Don't.
Circuit, I was not even a year old. I would have probably been about 8 months old at the time, I'd imagine. Somewhere around
Yeah.
there. So that's just some clarity there.
Right. Let
But
me
yeah,
give you some numbers for pricing. Right.
that's it.
So
Give us some numbers. Let's go.
SMRC. So Scottish Championship car racing, round one. This year is being held on the 18th and the 19th of April. Now, tickets
Multiple.
for this are actually, I think, not badly priced, in my opinion. So
Right, hit me with
a full weekend ticket for an adult is 25 quid.
it. All right.
Do you know what I mean? That's for the whole weekend. That's for the car racing. And I can tell you that now the bike racing the weekend before is the same price. So there's no difference between going for a weekend Scottish bike racing or a weekend Scottish car racing. For that 25 quid, you're getting 2 full days of things on track, whether it be practice, familiarization, qualifying, racing, or SLS. You can't really call that racing, can you? To be fair,
I can't tell that
if I'm honest.
or not. Oh,
um,
SLS.
then you've got a 60 over 65. You're £19. Disabled's £19. Now, a teen ticket is from 13 to 16 years old, and that's £13 for the weekend ticket. There's all kids at Knockhill under 12 years old do not have to pay for a ticket. They are free. You do also get student tickets, and the student ticket is priced at the same price as a child ticket, so it's £19. So if you are over 16, is it 16? I can't remember. I can't see from here. Yeah. So if you are
Yeah,
over
go with 16-year old.
16, but you're still in full-time education, i.e., college, university, whatever, up to whatever age.
I.e. Formula Finn.
Yep. And that even goes for mature students that have went back to college. If you are a student, you are entitled. You will get your weekend ticket for £19. And that is for 2 days worth of action from 9 o'clock in the morning till probably after 5 o'clock at night. The
Yeah.
the rounds are
I can
meant
imagine.
to the races are meant to finish, I think the Saturday 4:30, Sunday 5, but they always seem to run over. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way things happen.
No, it's Legends
Now,
fault.
what do you think about
It's
those
full
prices,
fault
mate?
Legends.
Because like I say, I've not paid for a ticket now for a good, well, 12, 13 years or so. I don't think that's bad for a Scottish car racing and the Scottish
Well,
bike racing. 25 quid for all days worth of stuff.
in my opinion, but I'm gonna go take First of all, last time I paid for a ticket was my first ever race at Knockhill, and that was Touring Cars 2024. That was a weekend
Hmm.
ticket. I want to say I had to get 60 quid for my ticket. That's a team ticket.
Just for yourself, for a child.
Yeah, oh, I didn't pay it. Mum paid it. Thank you, Mother.
Did you say that was touring car weekend?
Yeah,
Right.
that was in
Okay.
2024, I think.
Touring car weekend is more.
How much more is it
You
now?
it's obviously going to be more because you've got the big names, you've got bigger
Kingdom.
series, that type of stuff. Obviously, it's going to
You
be
got
on
a
the
lot.
telly. But do you know what? If I'm being honest, a weekend ticket for the touring cars for an adult is 60 quid.
Is it?
I challenge any of you people out there that went to see Taylor Swift in the last couple of years to challenge me on that.
Well, I must be wrong. Then with 60 quid for my ticket.
Do you know what I mean?
I
They're,
was
they're paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds for 3 hours worth of some lassie singing on a
they're
stage
not paying hundreds of pounds. They're
to
paying grands at times. You know?
at
I don't
times.
know.
Whereas you could pay 60 quid and go and see some of the best racing drivers in the UK.
See, right. Dilemma. Would you rather pay £2,000 to get a second-hand Taylor Swift ticket at Murrayfield in was it 2024, something like that?
Mhm.
For watch for 3 hours, or would you rather watch Pluto Racing, Tingham, Rowbottom, Shedden, Dexter Patterson, Aidan Moffat, and cars that go vroom, vroom, vroom for 60 quid? I mean,
I'd like to think that
how many
anyone listening
touring cars
to our
tickets could you
podcast would
buy
always
with
go
Taylor
for your second option.
Yes. Well, let me check this. Hold on. So let's say you're buying a Taylor Swift ticket for about £1,000. Let's say second hand. I'll go £1,000. Be generous. You could buy about almost 17 weekend touring car tickets for an adult.
Yep. And
That's
you can bring your
literally
friends along and you can have a good time and you could see
oh,
some.
birthday party. Not kill. Come on.
But you would have to go home on the Saturday night because our
Yeah.
camping ticket, so adult weekend ticket and camping is 105. So it's £45 to camp.
That's not really that bad, though, is it? I
It
mean,
isn't really that bad if you consider there is drinking water on site. Okay. There is 24-hour security on site. So it is a secure place that you can, like if you go camping in a camper van or whatever it is you do, I'm sure the site fees and that you would pay just to pitch up. And you're getting to go down to the paddock club at night and you're getting to mingle with
yeah.
people,
I mean,
mechanics, sometimes drivers. You get to do a track walk if you wanted to. You can come up to the Marshals campsite and speak to us. So
yeah.
£105. So a family of four. So say, let's have a wee look. So say two adults with two kids under 12, you're going to be £210 if you're camping.
That's not
Um,
bad, really. You know?
that's not bad, but it does jump up when you've got kids. So your 13 to 16-year-olds are £52. So say there's two kids over 12, then you're going to be 102. What did I say? 210 plus a 2.
Yeah.
What's that, Mr. Maths?
210 plus 102 would be 312.
Yeah. So £312.
Where's the math now? Mr. Wood.
Do you know what though? If actually that does actually sound quite a bit of money when you think about it. But
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
getting you can go in from the Friday. It's not just the Saturday and the
yeah.
Sunday. You can go and camp on the Friday night. So you've got Friday night
And then
camping, Saturday night camping.
on the Friday as well, you will get more action because throughout the week at Knockhill, before the touring cars, they do
Mhm.
testing all throughout the week. I know last year on the Friday they had the PMRs out on track after the fire, obviously.
Mhm.
So I mean, you get that as well to just go and camp. I mean, it's free to go to see anyways. If you're nearby, which I probably end up doing this year. You get
Mhm.
quite a bit of contact from that, I'd imagine. But it's not necessarily bad. I mean, as well, if you're camping over on Saturday, the best thing I can say to you is go to the paddock on that Saturday night. Because this year I was waiting to do the Napa track walk. It's so just like
Mhm.
chilled out and almost like ominous. how quiet it is.
Yeah.
You have the full day of action, the cars, just constant
Yeah.
noise, and then you get to
Yeah.
night, and it's just the occasional like wheel gun, whatever. And all the drivers just kicking them out.
Hmm.
You just go talk to them. Like I ran to Tom Chilton after the crazy carts thing. Didn't even know what
Yeah.
was on. Just comes, knock your
I
carts out.
know.
Trophy. And can I get a four?
I
Yeah,
know.
sure. Put one inch walk off.
I've just went on. I've just checked the superbikes pricing as well.
Take one.
So the superbikes pricing is £70 for the weekend, but it is a 3-day event ticket, not just a 2-day event ticket.
So you get 10 quid for next
So
day.
the prices are going to be slightly higher. What I can say is the camping is the same price. But just for anybody that's watching this or listening to this, then are looking to go to the Superbikes this year at Knock Hill, and you are looking for disabled camping, it is already sold out. Just
That's
so you
quite
know.
interesting. The amount of demand you get. I mean, just tell me, when is the Superbikes this year? What dates?
The British Superbikes this year is the
Please.
19th to the 21st of June.
That's not too bad. Because I'm considering whether I want to go watch that, because I've always thought I was going to watch it. I watched it on TV last year, TV Sports. But I mean,
Mhm.
I've never really been one to watch bike racing. I watch the occasional MotoGP race and the BSB occasionally, but it is quite good. When you sit down and watch it, it is quite good to watch, in all fairness. So, I mean, but
Yeah.
there's no. How much is a team ticket?
2 seconds, mate. What do you mean team ticket? What do you mean?
Yeah, team ticket for the weekend.
Oh, a teen ticket, as
Not
in
team.
Teen Wolf.
Well,
Right, the 2-day weekend ticket is 30, and
£30.
a 3-day £30 for 2 days, but that's 50. So it's basically £15 a day. But if you go for the 3-day ticket, it's 34, so it's only an extra £4
How much is
for
Sunday?
the
I've like Sunday
just
ticket.
for one day.
Yeah, just for the one day. I want to know that. How cheap is that?
Give me a second, mate. British Superbike Championship Sunday. Right, adult is 42, senior is 31, disabled's 31, and a teen ticket is £21.
That's actually really good. Like,
Mhm.
I was expecting that to be up there with like around the 50s, 40s. £21 to watch the British Superbike
Yep.
Championship race
Mhm.
day. That's not that bad, really, is it?
It's not bad at all, mate.
I mean, especially just being like down the road from there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hold on.
But
My
do
bad.
you know what? You are a marshal. You can apply to marshal that
Yeah,
Superbike.
I'm no marshal. I need to figure out with bikes because I've got a friend.
It's a slightly different flagging system for the bikes.
Yeah,
But I dare say the bit that you're in, the assembly and stuff like that, it'll be relatively identical to cars. I think they're running. Are they not? Are they not running different direction?
well, that's a good question actually.
They might be running in reverse direction.
There might be.
Sometimes,
I'm not
or
too sure.
I don't have it up here actually. The event details.
It might be. But yeah, I've got me. He's on my TikTok before. You've been all of you seen my TikTok, Charlie Wappleton. He races in the 300s series this year at Knock Hill.
Yep.
At Knock Hill, and he's Fortune. He's been saying to me, "You get Marshall on it." And I'm thinking about it because it'd be quite interesting to go Marshall. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But it's just you go online and you look for it, and it's not really made all that clear. Well, it might be clear. Actually, I'm just pretty speculative.
Well, here's some information for you then if you're thinking about marshalling it. So on the Friday, the races on a Friday, the race count for the Friday is 0. It's basically practice, right?
Choice.
On the Saturday, there is 4 races that day. So that'll be practice, qualifying, support races, and 4 superbike races. On the
BSB
Sunday, yep, BSB races. So you will probably find. So you were saying it was £21 for the ticket, which you thought was quite good value, right? How many BTCC races do you get on the Sunday?
3 on the Sunday, 1 on Saturday.
Okay. Would you like to take a guess at how many BSB races there are on the Sunday at Knockhill?
Well, it was a 4-to-1 ratio on the Saturday. I'm gonna go. Well, if I'm going with that, I'd go with 12, but I don't reckon there's gonna be 12 body BSB races in a
It
Sunday.
isn't. It isn't. But it's 8.
8.
So you're getting 8 races on the Sunday.
So you get 8 races on a Sunday plus 4 on a Saturday. You get 12 races in a weekend.
12 races over the weekend. Now that's not bad.
That's quite good.
Considering the prices that I said before, that's not bad. You're
So
getting a lot of action
£30
for
to
that.
go watch 12 mainstream races.
Yeah.
I like that.
Not
Anyway,
bad at all, eh?
before I hit reality that bikes being a lot cheaper than cars is probably a good thing, let's move on to the next one. What's next? Because I'm getting lost in the BSB pricing. I don't know how they're affording that. Right, hit me. What have we got?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you can think that you would see differently as a marshal than a spectator.
I mean, I would say merchandising, but we've done an episode on that before, haven't we?
Yeah, and we as marshals we do get a small discount at Knockhill, but it's not much in all fairness because to be fair, the prices of Knockhill stuff isn't that extortionate anyway.
I know.
So what they're charging people, they're probably making a little bit, and if they take a discount off for us, they're probably either breaking even or not making very much either. So they're still a business; they're still there to make
I
money.
know that we get free merchandise from the touring car teams. I know LKG Car Parts. I think it's LKG. They gave us all free umbrellas.
There is generally a team will give the marshals freebies, so it'll be chosen between them who's going to give them. I mean, we had you've seen everyone wearing the white Goodyear hats. Yeah, they were prevalent one year, so everyone got a white Goodyear hat. You'll get Napa badges and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that annoyed me because I didn't get one last year. Amber was one I picked up. I'm like, how do you get that? But yeah, I need to look out.
A lot of the freebies stuff. In fact, it's a question. It was a question I was going to ask, but I'll fill it into this one now because I'm aware that I'm running out of time as well.
Fair enough. Don't blame you.
Marshals walking around the paddock at night time, which spectators can do as well, but we can walk around there after they get sent back to their campsite. The teams will see marshals and you'll get invited into the garage and we'll say, yeah, I think I've still got some of these white Wonder Wipes that I got a couple of years ago. They're brilliant. Mechanics will just hand you stuff like that and hats and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously not old enough to be given bloody alcohol by a team. Feel free, I'll give it to my dad. My dad won't whip some whiskey. But I mean, I think as well, that's sort of just a spirit of motorsport in that as well. Because end of the day, we ain't there, you ain't racing. So I think the teams appreciate a lot. Marshals a lot for it.
Yeah,
probably more than other sports. Like in football as well, referees they get so much stick, it's unbelievable. But then your motorsport marshals, well, no, I did do well talking there. Referees, without them, football doesn't happen. Same without marshals, motorsport doesn't happen. Yeah, the motorsport marshals got compared to referees is a bit mental. I mean, you can make the argument that referees being paid to be there and we ain't, but the point still stands. It sort of shows how different motorsport is to other sports as well.
Yeah. So I think the overall basis of what we've talked about tonight is the perspective of the marshal is slightly different to the spectator, and we get a good turn of it, don't we? We get to meet the drivers and we get to speak to them and all that kind of stuff. We get to walk around the track at night time, kind of whenever we want. If you go into a driver's briefing in the morning, the marshal's briefing in the morning, on a touring car weekend anyway, you'll get maybe Gordon Shedden will come in or the ITV commentators will come in.
Yeah, that happened this year.
What's that?
That happened this year. I can't remember what one it was, but one of the commentators came down this year for that.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, Mr. Addison, I'll be hoping to see you this year.
Yeah, David. No,
Now,
David.
now that you have let on what time you get to the circuit, you've no excuse.
Yeah,
Sir.
good point. No excuse. Yeah. So, David, just for the record, right? Yeah, go see them at Not Kill. I'm no marshal at Not Kill. All right, go to Croft. Go see the marshals at Croft as well. You know, because that's what I'm going to be this year. Didn't leave
That's
me out
very
of
true.
it. You know, man.
That's very true. That's very true.
But yeah,
Listen, guys,
it's
that we've
still-
been on now for 40 minutes, and I'm going to have to give this a bye because I have
yeah,
places to be and things to do. So, unfortunately, guys, Amber hasn't made it on tonight. I know Amber was working and she was having to work some extra. Thinking it's maybe went on a little bit longer than it could have been. Just a wee reminder, guys, if you could go to fromthebanking.co.uk, have a wee look at the website. You can link to the videos on YouTube on there, and the latest episode of the podcast will also be uploaded there as well. You can go on to w.gg and you can put our code in, which is FTB 2026, which will give you a little discount on some of their energy drinks. And for any marshals out there that are listening, we have a discount code for Baofeng if you want to buy on their website. That's one of the main radios that the marshals or scanners that the marshals use just so they can listen into what's happening up at race control. Thank you very much, Liam. Much appreciated. Right, guys, that's us. Thank you very much for coming on, Aaron. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, no noise. It took me a second to realize you were talking about it. I'm a bit lost. My brain's gone.
I know it's way past your bedtime, kid, isn't it?
Oh, shut up. What an airport to our template, man. You didn't hear that one,
So if any of Aaron's friends are listening or watching this on the live
Liam's
stream,
literally in chat, by the way. He's waiting to get off my podcast.
Oh, I know. I can see him. Just, I wouldn't text him the rest of the night. I think he'll need to put
Liam,
his pajamas on and go to his bed now. Right, guys. Thanks very much for listening. This will go live on YouTube tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Highly edited, believe me. And let me know in the comments what you think of my little advertisement board in the back. It's an old telly I had lying about, which has got a horrible blue tinge to it. But
I'll tell you,
it's been going the whole video, so I'm just wondering what you're thinking of it.
It reminds me of the advertising board you see at the football. Just lying there in the pitch.
Yeah.
That's what we think. Oh, look at the cool setup done.
That's cool. That's cool. And it doesn't look. I've got a few cameras set up, which you'll see in the edit. It doesn't look as blue on the webcam as it does on this one. So I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much for watching. See you all later.
Well, everybody. Are we off live now? I'm no idea.